Since 1903, the Boston American League Baseball Club has given New England top baseball entertainment. In those 52 years, no season gave the fan any more to talk about than the 1955 campaign. Your neighboring Coca-Cola bottler invites you to make yourself at home with the Fighting Red Sox of 1955. While New Englanders still shiver under a blanket of snow, their baseball team opens for business in sunny Sarasota, Florida. Since 1933, the Sox have made their spring home in this vacation land of golf courses, beaches, art museums, and warm sunshine. Old Pete the Pelican is always on hand as a welcoming committee. The Red Sox are at home in Sarasota's Payne Park, and gay banners invite a visit to the ballpark, where pepper games sharpen the eyes of proven stars and eager rookies alike. A lot of winter stiffness comes out in these first days of reconditioning, and the excess poundage melts away. Young Billy Consolo and veteran Grady Hatton will have their own individual ways of getting ready for more strenuous days to come. And a pitcher is only as good as his legs, so Coach Boo Ferris gives the Red Sox hurlers plenty of running. The greatest show on earth is also here. Since the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus makes Sarasota its winter headquarters too. The big top signals a welcome to thousands of tourists who might envy this fellow's long neck for a peek over Payne Park fence. And they enjoy this picture of pure pleasure as friend Hippo lolls in his bath. You better watch that waistline, bub. The circus also goes through spring training routine in anticipation of the summer ahead. Well, finished with early workouts, the team is ready now for testing and competition with other clubs in the Grapefruit League. The Cardinals are in, and Stan Musial and Red Schoendienst are only two of the bright stars the fans can get next to. Spring lineups are likely to feature young players making bids for promotion, as well as established stars such as Stan Musial out to sharpen their batting eye, and Billy Goodman retaliating for Boston. Around the 1st of April, the Sox break camp and pull out for the north. They'll play their way home to Boston, where the State House dome gleams a welcome and magnolias bloom on Beacon Hill. It's opening day at Fenway Park, and the Red Sox are at home to baseball-hungry fans eager for the action and excitement of our national game. Wherever baseball calls the crowd, bright and bracing Coca-Cola's on hand to refresh them with its matchless taste and tingle. There are plenty of sick grandmothers in Boston this day, and if the boss is looking for some extra work that needs doing, well, he's out of luck. Massachusetts Governor Christian Herter has the afternoon set aside for baseball, too, and he's welcomed by owner Tom Yockey in the brown jacket. Naturally, opening day means plenty of ceremony and color. The youngsters are eager to strut their stuff. The governor is no different than the man in the bleachers. He's having fun, too. Great American traditions mix and mingle as a color guard from the United States Marine Corps does its part in the festival of baseball's opening day. After saluting the governor, they accept the flag from him and move to the pole in center field for the official flag-raising ceremony. From Bush League to Big League, nothing better typifies America than the sight of Old Glory waving over a ballpark. Everyone comes to attention as Arthur Fiedler, the famous conductor of the Boston Pops Orchestra, leads the band in our national anthem. After the opening day ceremonies, the chief executive of the Commonwealth has the honor of throwing out the first ball in Fenway Park, the home of the Red Sox. And another season is underway as the Boston team breaks onto the field. The slate is clean for whatever this year's stars will write. From one of Fenway Park's light towers, it's quite a scene as the Boston team of touted youngsters and seasoned veterans carry New England's banners into another season that stretches 6 months and 154 games into the future. The long-standing rivalry between the Red Sox and the Yankees is one of the hottest in baseball. The Yankees provide exciting competition for opening day and feature their star Mickey Mantle, who is to lead the American League in home runs. Gil McDougall is out at second, and this turns out to be the first double play of the home season. Boston bats begin to boom, giving Willard Nixon a safe foundation for an 8-4 victory. The Red Sox-Yankee games are always heated affairs, and after a hair-breadth decision at home which went against him, Herb Noren talks his way into an early shower. As usual, the umpires have the best view and the final word. A close play at home provides excitement for the fans, and another run for the Red Sox, as Billy Hunter's desperate throw gets away from Yogi Berra, and Billy Klaus comes in to score from third. This opening victory over the Yankees was one of the few bright spots of the early season as the Sox got off to a slow start. The team and the fans are given a tremendous lift, however, when General Manager Joe Cronin passes along to Publicity Director Joe McKinney the exciting news that Ted Williams is coming back to baseball and will report immediately. Boston's baseball writers rushed the great news to their papers. Ted Williams is one of the most colorful personalities ever to make baseball a business, a crowd pleaser and a murderous weapon to be used against opposing teams. With a lifetime average of .348, fourth best in the game since 1900, the big guy hit .356 in 1955. As big as this story was, it was soon overshadowed by an even bigger one. The tragic death of 25-year-old Harry Aganis, one of the most stunning blows in Major League history. Aganis died June 27th from pneumonia complications. Hitting .313 at the time of his death, Aganis was well on his way to becoming one of the top first basemen in the game. Tributes poured in from all over the country to this magnificent athlete who had realized his lifetime ambition when he put on the uniform of his beloved Red Sox. Through his high school career at Lynn, his All-American football days at Boston University, and his brilliant baseball performances, Harry Aganis was one of the finest competitive athletes in the history of all sport. The Red Sox had a new manager in 1955, Mike Higgins, who had served well in piloting Red Sox farm clubs for 8 years. Combining leadership and patience with a keen baseball mind, Higgins was to turn in one of the top managerial jobs in American League history. 15 games behind when Ted Williams came back, the Sox began almost immediately the fabulous climb that was to send them into the midst of the hottest fight the American League pennant race had known for years. Ted also resumed his familiar tattoo on stadium fences around the league by smashing out 27 home runs. As Williams began to hit, he hauled his Red Sox teammates along with him. One of the sparks in the team's resurgence was fire-eating Billy Klaus, the kid shortstop picked up in the winter of 1954 after knocking around the minors for years. Billy Klaus became one of the most talked-about players of the season. Whether it was fielding or beating out an infield bounder like this, hustle was Billy Klaus's trademark. Playing alongside Klaus at second base was veteran Billy Goodman, who helps keep the grass cut at Fenway Park. Billy ended up the year hitting close to .300 and is one of the top 5 lifetime hitters in the American League. His 176 hits led the Red Sox in '55, and he drew 99 walks in the leadoff position. One of the most versatile players in the game, Goodman has worked at 5 positions for the Red Sox, a handy man when the pressure began to mount. Another reason for the Boston surge was Grady Hatton, a Stonewall Jackson third baseman. He had the knack of coming up with a big hit or timely play. Hatton's clever glove work made him one of the best third basemen in the league. Rounding out the Red Sox infield was big rookie first baseman Norm Zauchin. The black band on Norm's left sleeve is the mourning band that the Boston team wore in tribute to Harry Aganis. Zauchin put his big bat to work as the Red Sox began breathing on First Division net. In one game against Washington, Norm had 3 home runs and 10 runs batted in, and he rammed out 27 homers to aid the season's cause. Jim Pearsall formed the third of one of baseball's best outfields in 1955, handling center field as though he invented the position. His sparkling defensive work left the fans breathless. On offense, Jim showed improved power at the plate, and in every department, played the game hard. Scenes like this give trainer Jack Fadden some anxious moments. The Red Sox right fielder Jackie Jensen had a solid 1955 season and more than carried his share of the load as Boston pulled up on the leaders. He hit 26 home runs and tied for league leadership in runs batted in with 116. Jackie's the owner of a strong throwing arm and rates excellent as a fielder. Next All-American fullback, Jensen used his blazing speed to steal 16 bases for Boston. The outfield reserves did their bit in the flag chase, too. Young Gene Stevens and Faith Roemberry are promising stars of the Red Sox tomorrow. The coaching staff was ably represented by Del Baker coaching at first base, and Jack Burns took over traffic duties at third. With the infield as tight as a snare drum head, with Williams, Pearsall, and Jensen patrolling their beats in the outfield, with Sammy White an Iron Man catcher, and good pitching, the Red Sox started up through the traffic jam in the American League. The Yankees and Cleveland had the favorites roll when the season began, but the hot weeks of July and August brought on a new threat, a hard-hitting, hard-playing team from Beantown, a team that refused to stay put in the second division and struck straight for the top. With a timely hit here, a running catch in the outfield there, a backhand stop in the infield, and alert base running every game, the Red Sox were the hottest team in mid-season. The top three teams of the American League watched over their shoulders as the Red Sox kept climbing. Players in New York, Cleveland, and Chicago kept one eye on the scoreboard for late news from Fenway Park. Could this fighting Boston team go all the way? This was baseball at its best as the Red Sox surged upwards. The pitching staff was paced by skyscraping Frank Sullivan, who posted 18 victories. Pausing to refresh only briefly between trips to the mound, Sullivan worked more innings than any other pitcher in the American League. After a discouraging start with too few runs scored behind him, young Tom Brewer found winning ways as the Sox came on. Taking 11 of his last 14 decisions, Brewer, too, was a factor in the fight. As was George Soucy Jr., who won 9 and lost only 7 in a fine first year. Soucy learned his trade from his dad, George Soucy Sr., now the pitching coach of the Kansas City Athletics. Veteran Willard Nixon whipped the Yankees on opening day and went on to post 12 decisions on the season. Ike DeLock saved his best days against the top teams. And Frank Baumann, just out of the Army, gave promise of future victories. Coach Paul Schreiber alerts the bullpen. A trio of Red Sox relievers snuffed out many an opponent's rally. Leo Kiley and Tommy Hurd with pitching coach Dave Ferris, while ageless Ellis Kinder lends a confident air. Solid catching backed up the Red Sox pitching staff. Mickey Owen taught some hard-won tricks to Sammy White, who did a masterful job in handling Boston pitchers. An accomplished receiver after only 4 Major League seasons, White caught more games in a season than any catcher in the history of the Red Sox. Yes, the Red Sox gave him a run for it, all right. Veteran fans say that no team ever captured the imagination of the public more than the 1955 Boston team. Their tremendous comeback and spirited play drew a rabid following, a following that hung on even as the shadows fell and the players went home. And home was a mighty fine place to be after a hot game in the hectic pennant race. Mrs. Jim Pearsall and her 4 little outfielders spread a real welcome mat when Dad comes in. Seeing his idol in uniform, the fan doesn't often think of him as a husband and father, babysitter and dishwasher. But when the diamond dust settles, the Sox players at home are, after all, just like other hard-working husbands. The 1955 season had other days of color and excitement. On Hall of Fame Day, the crowd came early and stayed late. Near at hand, of course, were frosty bottles of delicious Coca-Cola. For as long as baseball has been America's favorite sport, Coke has been America's favorite soft drink. With ice-cold Coca-Cola poured into handy paper cups, spectators were all set for top enjoyment. to press cameras and familiar TV lenses covered for stay-at-homes. This is a very special event at Fenway Park as the Red Sox pay tribute to living members of baseball's Hall of Fame. An imposing quartet with Chris Speaker, Fred Clark, Clark Griffith, and Cy Young. The old Fox of Washington, Clark Griffith, chats with Mrs. Joe Cronin of the Red Sox. An elite baseball grouping features Home Run Baker, Joe DiMaggio, Ford Frick, and Jimmy Fox. The great Chris Speaker returns to Boston, where he used to star in center field for the Red Sox. General Manager Cronin introduces Warren Giles, president of the National League. William Harridge, president of the American League, and Ford Frick, the commissioner of baseball. Among Diamond Immortals present were Frank Baker of home run fame, Mickey Cochran, an all-time catcher, Robert Moses Lefty Grove back in a Red Sox uniform, Paul Wainer, one of 6 players to pound out more than 3,000 hits in a career, the man who won more games than any other baseball pitcher, Denton Cy Young. The Hall of Famers bring back memories of yesteryear when Lefty Grove racked up his 300 pitching victories. Gabby Hartnett was slugging for the Cubs. Dazzy Vance was throwing his fastball by the hitters. Harry Hooper was a member of the famous Lewis Speaker and Hooper Red Sox outfield. Charlie Gehringer, the mechanical man, was performing for the Tigers, and Jimmy Fox for the Red Sox. During the 1955 season, the Red Sox also went to Cooperstown, New York, on the shores of beautiful Lake Otsego, to take part in annual ceremonies in the City of Baseball Shrine. Today, the new members of the Hall of Fame are to be inducted. There's also an exhibition game between the Red Sox and the Braves, with sluggers Ted Williams and young Eddie Matthews squaring off against each other. This is the big day of the summer for folks in this area. They've come from miles around for the game and ceremonies. There's some argument as to whether Cooperstown is the true birthplace of baseball. But regardless, the game's National Museum and Hall of Fame was built here in 1929. It takes a 75% vote of the Baseball Writers Association to become a member of the Hall of Fame. Ford Frick officiated at the ceremonies, as 1955 saw 6 new members elected, including Gabby Hartnett, former catcher and manager of the Cubs, and the peerless Joe DiMaggio, center fielder of the New York Yankees. The Baseball Museum is a treasure house crammed with the memories of deeds and greats in the annals of our national pastime. Joe DiMaggio gets a special thrill as he examines a locker that used to hold his uniform at Yankee Stadium. This is a bronze bust of the great Christy Mathewson. And these are George Evans trophies awarded for hitting prowess to Ty Cobb in 1911 with an average of .417. Cobb again in 1910, Hannes Wagner in 1908, and Cobb in 1909. Even here, the umpires take a gentle ribbing. And another painting shows the Flying Dutchman, Hannes Wagner, considered the top shortstop of all time. Red Sox immortals are at home, too, in the Hall of Fame, with the Jimmy Fox plaque and the great Eddie Collins' bronze hand. A scorecard from the 1905 World Series advertises Coca-Cola, whose bottler sponsored the Little Bigger League, since renamed in honor of famed Babe Ruth, surrounded here by worshiping youngsters. The Bambino's golden shoe and home run bats, the baseball that Ruth hit for his last round tripper, and the American League plaque in his honor. More than any other sport, baseball pays homage to its heroes and their accomplishments. And that's what we've been doing, really, paying homage to the Boston Red Sox of 1955. A team equally at home in Sarasota, Florida, in Fenway Park, in upper division standings, and in our memories. This was a fighting team in 1955. It had strength and speed, hitting and heart, hustle and experience. It's a team to be long remembered in the hearts of baseball fans everywhere. The Boston Red Sox and your neighbor who bottles bright and bracing Coca-Cola hope you've enjoyed being at home with the Red Sox. We thank you for your loyalty to baseball, to our Boston team, and to Coca-Cola, the unique product that has become as much a part of American life as baseball itself. Remember, Whether you're a fan in the stands or a player in the clubhouse, whoever you are, whatever you do, wherever you may be, when you think of refreshment, think of Coca-Cola. For Coca-Cola makes any pause the pause that refreshes, and ice-cold Coca-Cola is everywhere.